Howdy. This video is intended mainly for my friends. We've been playing a lot of Halo 3, but I'm thinking I'm going to make it public as well, just in case anyone else is playing Halo. I might do more of these, might not, don't know, but here we're going to cover our map callouts. These maps have existed for quite a long while, so there are well-established callouts for things, but I've also played these games for a really long time and made up, weird little names for locations, kind of like how any team would make their own callouts. But this is just what I call these things, what a lot of my friends call them, and just making this video so the rest of the friends can know what to call things. So with that, we're going to get right into it with Lake Base. Lake Base is called Lake Base because it is the base on the lake. Not much else to it there. You can say that they're an upper lake base, right, to describe this area, or lower lake base. Pretty easy to understand. Next to lake base, there are side spawn. Side spawn, there is a side spawn on the other side of the map, but we just call this side spawn basically based off of context. If we're saying, oh, enemies spawning at side spawn, or like their side spawn, and we're pushing from the other side, we'll know they mean lake side spawn. Or you can just call it lake side spawn, and we'll know it is this side spawn here. Next, we have this little path here, really niche. Just call it super secret. My friends also sometimes call it sneak man strats. That's a little, personal in-joke, just because it's a sneaky little path to come out. It's not honestly the best place to go all the time, but it's not really even that sneaky, but hey, it's what we call it. Over here, we have Passage, sometimes called Lake Passage because it's close to the lake. It's on the lake side of the map. But it's called Passage, you can remember, because it is a little passage that takes you from the lake side of the map into the kind of middle sector of the map. And a lot of fights happen over here. Actually, a lot of fights happen with guys standing where I am, shooting down here. And for that reason, I'll sometimes call this forest, or lake forest, because there's 3 trees kind of right around it, and it's 4-ish, 5-ish. You don't really hear forest all that much, just because it's not that much of a forest, and normally Passage, or their side of Passage, will do. But just in case you hear forest get called out, it probably is talking about this. Moving forward, we have Lake Field. The field call-out will probably make more sense when we cover the other side, because it's more of a field. But this area is called Lake Field because it is a bit of a field, and it's important to call out because that's where that man cannon will take you. It'll put you kind of around here. It'll mainly put you in river, which, spoiler alert, we're going to call this river. But yeah, Lake Field is just right around here. Mainly this side of the river. Over here, we have Lake Cave. Often, the caves will be called out just as their cave or our cave based off of where we spawn at the beginning of the match. But if for some reason you just need an absolute exact location as to where something is, you can call this Lake Cave, because it is the cave closer to the lake. Now into the middle of the map. This is something that traverses the entire map, is river. Sometimes you'll hear it called stream, maybe the creek. Just anything that is a moving body of water will probably be known as river. Now above river you have hill. Easy to remember because it is a giant hill in the middle of the map. Hill is very important. You'll hear hill get called out a lot during games because somebody is going to own hill during a Valhalla match. It's a very important landmark on the map because you can see everywhere around. Next to hill, we have Pelican. You'll sometimes hear this called downed Pelican, but you don't really need the downed part of that because there's only one Pelican on the map. And so just saying Pelican will suffice and it will cut down on any kind of clutter in your speech. Over onto this side, We'll take a little stop here. This is turret. Even when the turret is not here, we just call this turret because it's where the turret spawns. Kind of like the Pelican, there is really one turret on the map, one stationary turret. Maybe you'll hear it called MG for, you know, like mounted gun. But it's probably going to be turret. Over here is Lone Goose, sometimes called Outpost, because it's kind of like an outpost thing. Lone Goose, because there is a Lone Goose here. You'll often see guys kind of hide behind this. This is why it's not known as any other kind of call-out, because there generally will be gravitating towards the goose or the outpost area. Sometimes hear this called Wall, maybe Great Wall, because it is a giant wall here. Very niche, you'll hear it called Sigil, because during holiday events, sigils spawn over here. But generally, I personally call this whole area Lone Goose, because it's such an open area. If you're sitting on hill, and you just look over here, I can say, oh, guy on Lone Goose, and I look over. So what if he's over there, right? Like, I'm looking at Lone Goose, he's right there. Easy enough. Now moving kind of towards the other side of the map, we have Cove. Excuse me. We have Cove, called Cove, because, you know, it's kind of a little serene cove, right? A little ecosystem, got some plants. Yeah, it's just Cove. Here is Clifffield. This is where, like, it's more like a field, right? Important because the main cannon from over there will shoot you out here-ish. So, important to remember, Clifffield. And here we have a cave system. Spoiler alert from earlier. Cliff Cave, because it's the cliff side of the base. Both sides are called like their cave, our cave. Same deal as with Lake Cave. Say we spawned over here, right? We'll generally call this one our cave for the match. Say we spawned over there, this would be their cave for the entire match. But again, if you just need to be very specific about what you're calling out, you can say Cliff Cave, and people will know you're talking about right here. And over here, if you couldn't guess based off of kind of the other callouts, this is Cliff Base. Sometimes it's called Waterfall Base. I wonder why that is. But we just call this Cliff Base usually. And here is Side Spawn for Cliff Base. Sometimes you hear it called Cliff Side Spawn. It's kind of a long word, so kind of like how with the caves, their side spawn, our side spawn. You will low-key sometimes hear this just get called fuck or fucked, because if you're being spawn trapped over there, it's not a great time. But you know, you can maybe sneak something out there. And last but not least, kind of a unique call out because it's a unique feature on the map. There's Waterfall, because it is a waterfall. But these are all the major callouts for my friend group in Valhalla. Anyway, I hope this helps, and have fun knowing where the hell you are in Halo.